and the color gets rid of it. We get all of that off, and then it comes down to the micron filter. These are 5 micron, and then there are 1 micron filters. So basically, the water gets thoroughly cleaned in here, but then we don't get rid of the viruses and such stuff. So for that, we have an RO. So these are the RO pins. We come with the RO, and here in the bacteria, the TDS, the totally dissolved solids. Because most of the groundwater here is about say 700 TDS, 800 TDS, which is not good for people to consume. So here in it comes down to almost 80, and that again is not very healthy. So we have a
Put anything like chlorine into the water?
nothing. It's not healthy.
You put minerals back into the water here?
Yeah, that's by using the same water. So we ensure that we have about 100 TDS. And finally, it comes into the UVW. It's a ultraviolet water works. It's our own production. And here in the water is, it's exposed to UV rays. The typical UV that you get in the market, it just about stays for a second, hardly a second. But this is almost 4 times that. So it's very potent. So it kills off all the virus and everything that's there. So after that, the water is sent into the transfer tank, and then it goes up into the storage, and then we have a dispensing which is outside. I'll show you outside.
Quality of water and whether the desirable limit including the consumers who are so that we get
Then we'll take back to their home.
Drinking.
And then where do they have to purchase the water, so where do they?
So we have 2 constructs here. The first one is where they cash and carry. They pay money for that particular user fee for that.
Someone would sit here and
Exactly,
charge
an
an
operator.
Yes.
The other piece, which I'll talk about in my presentation briefly, is a smart card contraption in which what they do is they subscribe or top it up for a 30-day subscription. They come, they swipe it, and the water gets dispensed automatically. So that's the way we'll be moving forward for any time usage. It needs to be completely unmanned, and anybody should be able to come to the center 24/7, just like an ATM. That's where we are migrating to provide the services from the top. So yeah, so that's
Very impressive.
where we are. So if you could just move to the next section. We
Yes,
have
please.
a brief ceremony here. And the problem is that in different areas the definition is somewhat nebulous. In a situation where we have even the urban areas where the contamination is high because the groundwater purification process is not absolute. So
Today we inaugurate the 500th plant of WaterHealth. This is truly, I extend a warm welcome to our special guests.
So this is briefly about what WaterHealth does and the kind of presence that we had. So what I will now share with you is a story about WaterHealth. We were told to explain what WaterHealth does to the audience and to our guests. So I thought instead of telling you about statistics and numbers and information about the company, which is very boring, let me tell you about the story as seen from the eyes of a typical WaterHealth consumer. So this story is narrated by and this is a fictitious character. Her name is Annapurna, but the events are real. So the events that unfold in this particular presentation are the ones which have actually happened in one of the water health centers, which is located in coastal part of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so So this particular story is about the girl who sees the development and eradication of waterborne diseases from her village in coastal Andhra. The name of the village is Akividu, which is in the central part of this particular state, Andhra Pradesh, and she looks at how water health has been able to change the lives of the people in and around her village. So this is a fictitious character, like I said. Her name is Annapurna, and she's the one who looks at how things have changed in her village. So this is how she tells her story. There was waterborne diseases in her village, and one day she saw a group of people coming and testing water in the water source which was used by the villagers, which was the local pond. And lo and behold, before long, there are a set of people who come in, who start testing the water, constructing something which people were unaware of. And before too long, there was equipment and structure shipped in, and there was this elegant and a compact water health center that emerged in that particular village. So everybody was happy. They now had an alternative to receive purified and safe water in their village and address the problem of water contamination. What happened thereafter was that while the water health center did exist, the problem was that people were driven by habit and not necessarily go to a water health center which provided them safe water. So one of the issues that they need to address was how to get people to change their habits. And therefore she saw a team of water health center volunteers who came and did a social marketing program at the school, and they were able to see the live demonstration of pathogens and other viruses in water. And this was a moving experience for the entire group of school children, including Annapurna, because that was the first time they realized that the water they are consuming is indeed contaminated. So the first thing she did was go back home and tell her parents that I'm not going to consume water that's contaminated, neither should you or anybody else in our village. So that was the turning point in terms of changing habits. Like everything in life, and as you have to address nature, what happened was in 2010, this water pond dried, and the source of water which had been serving the villages for decades was no longer an option as a water source. And therefore what happened was Water Health Center and the local panchayat had to dig a bore well in order to extract water for the people. The good news was that the aquifer was reasonably recharged and there was adequate amount of groundwater. So a bore well was dug. But the problem with the bore well is that the water which is generally extracted from the aquifer has high TDS, which is the water is salty, it's brackish. So it's unfit for consumption. So while water was now made available, there was an inherent issue of consumption. So what Water Health did was they added a reverse osmosis technology which allowed the water to be made fit for consumption, and that allowed for people to consume water seamlessly. So that was the addition into this particular village. And then as prosperity grew, people stopped falling sick often, and this village started flourishing. The habitats around the village could not receive the same benefit, and therefore there was a request from the community, how do we ensure that the adjoining areas also receive safe water just like Akividu? And that's a time when Water Health came with a delivery program where trucks and trawlers were put in place to ensure that these are delivered reliably to all the consumers in the nearby areas. So this was the evolution of how Water Health started serving not only the base village, but the village adjoining the main. And then, when all of this was fine, people wanted every time usage of Water Health Center. That means it should be not constricted to few working hours. So Water Health came with an automated solution where the entire plant was automated just like an ATM. So one could go with a smart card, swipe the smart card, and dispense water at any point of time in a seamless fashion. Not only that, the company set up parametric monitoring processes in the plant, wherein sitting inside Hyderabad, one could look at control all the plants, any part of the world, sitting here and shut them down and switch them on depending on the kind of contamination or the control variables of the plant. So that was the evolution, how the story went from having no water to a situation where, just like an ATM, you could dispense water at the command of the swipe of the card. And I think we believe that if Annapurna was here and if she was a real character, we believe this is what she would say. And I think without sounding pompous about it, I think she would really thank a company who has learned, and I would say learned with our consumers, with our stakeholders, to figure out what is the best solution possible for them and keep pace with the changing times of technology as well as contamination, so that we provide reliable and efficient service to our consumers. And that's the endeavor and the promise that we make to others as well as to ourselves, to serve the needs of the underserved. So ladies and gentlemen, that is what we stand for, and that's what we hope to do now and forever. Thank you. We provide close to 1,000 cans, 5,000 people.
శ్రీ మార్క్ వార్నర్, శ్రీ మైకల్ బెనెట్, టోమ్ ఉలల్ మరియు ఎంతో రుణపడి ఉన్నాము. ముఖ్యంగా ఈ యొక్క ప్రాంతంలో మరి ఈ యొక్క వాటర్ హెల్త్ ప్లాంట్ లేనప్పుడు ప్రజలు చాలా మరి త్రాగునీరు లేకుండా చాలా ఇబ్బందులకు గురయ్యేవారు. మరి యొక్క వాటర్ హెల్త్ ఫస్ట్ 2010 ఆగస్టు నెలలో మరి యొక్క వాటర్ హెల్త్ వారిని మరి మా గ్రామంలో పెట్టడం జరిగింది. పెట్టిన తర్వాత ప్రజల నుంచి మంచి మరి ఈ యొక్క వాటర్ వల్ల మరి మంచి యొక్క ఈ దీంతో మంచి హెల్త్ పరంగా కానీ ఇవన్నీ కూడా బాగున్నాయన్న రిపోర్ట్స్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత మరి ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రాంతంలో 500 ఫ్లాట్ను మన ప్లాంటును ఈ యొక్క ఏరియాలో మరి ప్రారంభించడం జరిగింది. ముఖ్యంగా ఏదైతే ఈ యొక్క ప్లాంట్ వల్ల మరి మన భారతదేశంలో చాలా ప్రాంతాలలో మరి ఈ యొక్క త్రాగునీరు లేక మరి ఈ చాలా గ్రామీణ ప్రాంతాలలో కూడా ఈ వాటర్ తాగునీరు లేక ఈ వాటర్ యొక్క ప్రాబ్లం తోటి చాలా జిల్లాలలో కూడా మరి అనారోగ్య సమస్యలతోటి ఈ యొక్క భారతదేశంలో చాలా మంది ప్రజలు చాలా ఇబ్బందులకు గురవుతూ అనారోగ్యాల పాలవుతూ మరి ఈ విధంగా ఈ యొక్క వాటర్ హెల్త్ ఏదైతే ఇక్కడ ఈ గ్రామంలో స్థాపించినప్పటి నుంచి మరి ఎవరికి కూడా అనారోగ్య సమస్యలు లేకుండా ఆరోగ్యంగా ఈ యొక్క ప్రాంత వాసులందరూ కూడా ఆరోగ్యంగా జీవిస్తూ ఉన్నారు. ముఖ్యంగా ఈ యొక్క హెల్త్ వాటర్ వలన మరి రాబోయే కాలంలో ప్రతి ఒక్క మరి జిల్లాలలో ప్రతి ఒక్క సెంటర్ను బ్రహ్మాండంగా స్థాపించి పేద గ్రామాలలో చాలా పేద ప్రజలు ఉన్నటువంటి ఈ యొక్క ప్రాంతాలలో సురక్షితమైనటువంటి నీరు లేక చాలా అనారోగ్యాలకు గురవుతూ ఉన్నారు. మరి దీంట్లో మరి ఈ యొక్క ప్లాంట్లు వారికి మేమెంతో మరి రుణపడి ఉన్నాము. ముఖ్యంగా ఈ యొక్క భారతదేశంలో చాలా మరి సురక్షితమైన నీరు లేక చాలా ఇబ్బందులకు గురవుతున్నారు. కాబట్టి ఈ ప్లాంట్లు కూడా మరి జిల్లాకొకటి చొప్పున మన రాష్ట్రంలో మరి స్థాపించాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం ఉందని చెప్పి తెలియజేసుకుంటూ మరి ఈ యొక్క హెల్త్ వాటర్ వారికి ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చి నన్ను ఇక్కడికి పిలిచినందుకు మరొకసారి కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలియజేసుకుంటూ ముగిస్తున్నాం.
Now request Senator Warner to come and say a few words.
My friends and colleagues, Senator Michael Bennett and Senator Tom Udall, it is an honor for us to be here this morning in Kamali to listen to the address of the leader of this community and to be part of the 500th WaterHealth Center initiation. This is an extraordinary example of how investment in a community can transform the lives of millions of people. I was excited to see that with this 500th water center being initiated, your company now serves 2 million people, yet your goal is to serve 100 million by 2016. Those are ambitious goals, but goals that I'm sure you will be able to meet. This is also an example of a different kind of people-to-people and business-to-business collaboration. WaterHealth is, I know, initiated by many American businesses and American investors, and I think again reflects the growing collaboration and friendship between the people of India and the people of the United States. I also want to particularly recognize Jacqueline Linkwit, who told us about this extraordinary company and was willing to invite us to be here at this grand opening, and we thank you for this. This is a real chance for us as visitors to get past simply visiting with large businesses or governmental leaders, but to really get into the community and see the effect of meaningful investment by an American company to transform people's lives. So thank you for including us, and we hope there will be, we hope to come back as you get to that 100 millionth person.